we're gonna go boom. I know
Casting mode.
I have to click very, very carefully so as not to, spoil
Hmm.
things for people. All right, so what's next on our happy list? I see Bloom vs. Magician.
All right, sounds good.
All right, cool. Do that, and we just do whoop-cha. Look at that.
Whoop-a-chow, bwam.
I know. I got like we were talking earlier, right? I'm a professional Foley artist. Do you have the picks and bans? Or do you want me to pull those up?
Why don't you go ahead? I do not have them in front of
Oh,
me.
okay, let me go pull them out then real quick on this like really really nifty website that I found. What are we looking at? Bloom vs. Magician.
Okay, it's the design that's really good.
Yeah.
I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if you know who handled the design, but whoever they
Yeah.
are, they're
Whoever
much
they
better
are.
than the programmer.
Yeah, it sounds about right. All right. All right. So we start off with Magician banning Panopticon any 5 of 8. Bloom retaliates by banning Balcony any 2 of 3. Magician bans. Oh God. All right. Fine. They just both ban. Uh, Magician
Magician
bans
bans
both
both
Panops
Bloom bans
and
both
both
balconies.
balconies. Yes.
Yeah,
Ah,
straightforward.
sad. All right. Anyway,
You realized as you were reading it, like,
I
oh,
did. I
it's
was
just
like,
this.
oh man. All right. I'm talking to both of you. All right. Magician picks new art ballroom any 4 of 7, not 4 of 8. Bloom picks this lovely and talented Courtyard 2, any 4 of 7. Magician picks the what we affectionately know as Crowded Pub, any 4 of 7. So that's Pub 4 of 7 with 16 guests. And Bloom finishes out the picking with Gallery, any 4 of 8.
I really like Crowded Pub. I didn't like it at all at first, but with some of the later changes, I actually picked it once in an overtime. In other words, meaning it was something that I liked enough that I was okay spying on it in overtime, even if they picked Sniper, which they did, which really says a lot. I think that's the highest praise you can give a map right
I
now is
I
that
I
you
like to
you
spy
would
on
pick
it.
it in over right that I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
mind spying on it in overtime. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's a real big endorsement. That's a very serious endorsement. I think it's a really nice mix.
Yeah, I think this is a great set we have lined up for him. I mean, some maps we haven't seen, some we have, a couple of new art. I say we jump right into it with Magician as the spy on Ballroom. And let me click a few things, a few more
Very
thingies.
pretty funny though that Bloom bans both balconies. Magician does not pick any Softail map after that.
Yeah, which
So
is, I mean, does
I don't know. I don't know. I should probably have studied their historical picks and bans a little more, but I
mhm.
feel relatively confident saying that maybe it's just one of those things where they like a lot of the same maps because a lot of snipers feel the same way about the Softail hardtail variants. And Bloom is just thinking, well, I can ban nothing, or I can just ban the one thing I don't want to play. So might as well ban the one thing I don't want to play.
right? That's definitely banning
Even
for you than banning against your opponent. I would say
right. Sometimes they're not going to pick it anyway, but you have the ban option, so why not?
you might as well. Yeah, unless you're the person who shall remain nameless, that made me put in the option in the drafter to have the option to not ban anything.
I was
Anyway,
about to say maybe there's a little bit of a psychological warfare there, but I'm skeptical as to the benefits of that.
oh, you never. So, uh, I don't want to make this longer than it already needs to be, but there have been things that like that happened to Dota, like the no ban games. But anyway, let's see how Magician does on Spy. This is Magician versus Bloom in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is one of the other maps I would consider picking in overtime, but I would pick A48 of course, to make it a little more spy centric. But I think this is with certain players, this is actually pretty close to a coin flip too, even on the spy side.
Yeah, I mean this. I mean it's the original, as it were, the new original, right?
Yeah, the new original.
The
Well,
new originals.
I think this is actually. I think I really like the translation. I was so nervous that our beloved ballroom was going to get wrecked by the new art, beaten with the new art stick, but the pretty stick, if you will. But I think it's worked out really well, and I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I think it turned out great. So
Early drink take from Magician, and he's not doing much.
no, some more aggressive idling TM. So I noticed he cut microfilm, which, if you've heard me cast before, I really don't like cutting on 4.8 because I really like having to keep the sniper honest in, keeping track of those books. Like, not having to worry about books is such a load off of the sniper's mind.
Yeah, that's true, but you also have to convince them then that you're willing to do it. So you have to. It has to already be part of your spy game, at least occasionally. Otherwise, you don't get that benefit.
That's true.
I think with the old art, it was pretty much always the mission you wanted to take off. But with the new art, I think it's pretty viable again.
Yeah, I
But I
agree.
just don't know what else you take off here. because every mission is potentially very valuable here.
So we have half a mission done. Oh, and
You
okay,
got the bug.
there we got the bug.
Totally invisible, not seen at all. Behind the pillar, as far as I can tell, Bloom was sort of at a weird angle. That's just a free bug.
Yeah, 100%. Like we talked about free bugs in that gallery game, but that is a free bug.
That's pretty hard to catch on Ballroom. That's one of the reasons this is so viable for the Spy with the new art, especially with some of these characters. Some, obviously, the smaller character there, and Papa Danger. Some of the other ones too have very subtle bug animations.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there it is. Flirt and statues. I love it. I love it. I love it.
The warning track classic.
Oh no. Well, now I can't do it
Now you
anymore
can't
in
do it
competitive
anymore.
matches.
I
You
just
keep
ruined
calling
it.
that.
Oh, and we swap there too. We get pick up a
How
highlight.
about this? And Bloom gets a nice, clear, unobstructed view of center statue after that. Let's see. No, maybe not. Maybe he's not certain.
Yeah, might not be. I mean, so we definitely didn't see if it was.
He's looking at the list. I don't know if he's noticed this or not, or at least he's not confident of it. If he's looking at the list after a swap has gone off, that doesn't make it seem like he's on the swap.
No, I definitely agree with that assessment.
Very close to finishing here. Let's see if he stands far away from the ST. Might as well. Yep, perfect.
There it is.
He's not sure about the swap, and he's mad at himself, and it's probably about to cost him this opening game.
Yeah. All right, there's the final flirt. There's the countdown.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and he's staring at the statue. He's staring at the guest list. He's worried about a mission that's about to happen, not the one that just did.
Yep, and that cost him putting Magician up by 1. Yeah, well played for Magician. Little bit of that bold spy play we were talking about.
So here's the thing. I think it's funny if most players, you get away with something like the bug, especially bug, because it's invisible. There's no trace left behind. What you think then is, okay, well, I just need to get all my other missions done, no other hardtails. Magician zigs rather than zags and says, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a second hardtail, and even if he's very suspicious of it, the only thing I have to do after that, maybe finish up my inspects, do the flirt, and I'm not going to BB, so he's never going to have that prompt to shoot. Very hard to make yourself shoot without hearing that BB.
Yes.
So
is it though?
I wasn't even trying to do it.
No, it's okay. I get
It's
you.
totally unintentional.
No,
so now I don't know if the other way would have been worse. If it would have been bad, I think he probably would have gotten away with it either way if he just, like I said, pressed that advantage from having the hardtail done clean like that.
Mm-hmm.
But a very interesting, creative form of spy play to say, even if I do something really suspicious like a statue swap, as long as he doesn't see a swap in my hands and I don't give him a BB afterwards, he's probably not going to shoot.
Yeah, although Kledos is asking if that was an accidental swap, and I suppose who knows.
I mean, that makes perfect sense, too. I got to say, at this point, I feel like a third of swaps at high-level play are accidental.
Or accidental, yeah, who knows?
But if it was, it worked out fine, and it was very good for him to realize, well, I don't have to BB, so maybe not so bad.
So maybe not so bad. Well, it's time for Bloom's shot at revenge in 3, 2, 1, go. Playing as the General, one of the few characters to make the old art to new art transition.
I don't know why he was surprised. He's a magician. He can swap from one statue to another, make it disappear.
Yeah. In hammer space, I believe that's the technical term.
And Bloom kind of idling too. Well, I don't know what they do in Diamond, but every other league we've cast, the early flirt has been pretty much standard. But some of these Diamond matches, mixing it up. I like what Kledos is saying about it being an accidental swap too. Yeah, that happens a lot more when you have your seduction target next to you like that. When you're trying to finish up inspects, when you're trying to time it just right, because action priorities are changing on the fly, so the odds of an accidental whatever go way up.
Yeah. We do actually hit the difficult fingerprint on the briefcase, so that's nice. We have, as the snipers would put it, half of a fingerprint.
Fingerprint, which is always a very weird way to put it, but right. Now, so here's the downside with that, though. You don't actually know how well the sniper's tracking it. If they're tracking it very well, then they're not reading it as a normal briefcase. They understand it wasn't just a briefcase. But if they're only sort of tracking it, all they know is they saw you holding a briefcase. So you could still be put down for one fingerprint in the sniper's mind if they didn't notice the first person picking it up.
Yep. It's
And that
definitely
it's funny how that works sometimes, right? I've actually gotten
And then the
shot
red.
for getting a green purloin, taking a drink later to seem inconspicuous, but the moment I took the drink is when they noticed the purloin had gone off. So
yeah,
you,
yeah.
you need to have a sense of how on it the sniper is.
Yeah, BB comes off. Got 4 lowlights out of it. Looks like Magician assumed real, lowlighting
Yeah.
people who are outside of or in a conversation that did not have an SDA in it. We get the next fingerprint. Great awareness from Bloom on that one.
Yeah, I don't know if that was particularly aggressive with the lowlights assuming real, or if it's just a response to saying, we're pretty far into this game and I haven't seen anything yet, so I'm worried that I'm behind and have to make an aggressive decision, which is a
Right.
reasonable position to take. He's not behind. Bloom hasn't done much, but I think sometimes a minute and a half left, you see a BB and you think, you know what? Worried, I have to do something aggressive.
Yeah, well, we
But it
say.
works out either way.
Yeah, I mean, even saying that Bloom hasn't done much, Bloom hasn't done much like visible, anything that leaves a trace. He has finished, half of his missions.
True, but he's not close to getting seduced, so he's either going to have to do,
A hardtail
another,
anyway. Yeah.
right, another hardtail, or he might just need to do. Well, here it is, maybe a time ad.
And a green one at that, which
And
means
now he's got time.
yeah, and now, oh, and even worse, we're gonna get into the dreaded slow beeps, which is just such, I think, a psychological torture for the sniper.
Don't think time ads are that valuable to the spy most of the time. I think what they normally do is they just mess with the sniper. They cause you to think things are there that aren't there. They cause you to shoot the wrong person. If you as a sniper can just say, okay, they got one over on me, who cares, move on, I think you're better off most of the time. But I'm really surprised that he's not watching these lowlights closer, because he made a very aggressive decision about the lowlights. And you got to wonder, I see so many of them going to statues now, you'd think he'd be a little nervous. It's entirely possible, though, that maybe he did a lot of research and maybe he finds out Bloom almost literally never fakes. Maybe he's just that confident.
Ooh, a shot comes off on Small Man. I'm gonna guess for what looked
He had the
like
briefcase.
yeah.
Case he ran into several people there. I don't know if that's it, but I think it's just a lack of suspects and the time going down.
Yeah, I'm telling you, those slow beeps are like the perfect way to induce a shot. MMK Star, to answer your question, there are 2 timers. So normally there's only one, but what happens is on a time ad, if you get the green test on a time ad, it slows the sniper's timer till the equivalent of 45 seconds are added. So the sniper and the spy see 2 different timers, and that's why we see 2 different timers here.
Yeah, they share the timer normally, but if he adds time like that and gets the green test, then he gets his own. He gets his 45 seconds added, and the other one gets just dilated. Sorry.
Yeah.
And by the way, one of my favorite things to tell people at PAX was see their eyes go wide when they realize the clock. It actually messes with the timer. The speed at which the seconds count down. It's such a great way to mess with people.
Oh yeah, it's like I think my favorite mechanic in the game. It's so good. So good.
Oh, so he's asking, MMK Star's asking what happens when the sniper's countdown reaches 0 and the game doesn't end. Well, it's actually interesting the way you put that. It's really the spy's countdown. So the spy loses when the time runs out and they don't complete missions. So if you have to think of it one way or another, that's the time the spy has to complete, not the time the sniper has to find them.
Yeah. And if the sniper's clock hits 0 and the spy's clock still has some time on it, the game just doesn't end. The spy's clock is kind of the authoritative one,
right.
as it were.
If it wasn't, there'd be no value to the time ad.
Yep. So that looks, we are tied 1-1. Spies splitting the ballroom.
I have to say real quick, they're explaining time ads in the chat, and it's all very great and helpful, of course. And then someone mentions something, and then Steph comes in with all caps, however, which is how all these rules go in Spy Party. You're going to hear how things work.
Yeah.
However, here are three exceptions.
Right. It's like everything in Spy Party is like there is always an exception somewhere, but that's what makes the game good, right? All right. Yes. Back to Courtyard. What were we doing?
Of Courtyard.
Yes. Courtyard 2, not just Courtyard 1, because we're basically not cameraman, so it's not Courtyard 1.
Not here. He doesn't get to complain about it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm glad I don't have to argue with anyone about this week, at least.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. No, I'm on your side for that one. But
Okay,
let's see the better Courtyard in 3, 2, 1, go. So Magician starting off as everyone's favorite orange dress. Also, I won't hit caps lock. Staying under AI control for a little while longer. I guess we're going to see where we settle. There we go.
Dumps you in the least conspicuous place possible, standing across from the Amba with nobody else originally in the conversation.
That's right. Nothing to see here.
Oh, this is becoming a bit of a theme in this match.
Yeah, just a little bit. Unfortunately, we're oh
But the Spies are 2-0, aren't they? So I guess I shouldn't complain.
yeah, spies are 2-0. We're having the rare spy duel, as it were.
Ooh. Walked really, really far into that wall there, I thought, with the briefcase. That I've been shot for that.
Yeah, I think trying to
Maybe erroneously, but
yeah trying to emulate the courtyard bump, as some people like to call it.
yeah. But in this case, I think the whole arm disappeared, and yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
it happens.
It does.
Shenanigans happen in Spy Party, right? It's just kind of the way things roll.
Timer flirt, I guess, here, which is pretty good. Since he's already got the fingerprint, I think he can afford to wait for it. Nope, not gonna.
Nope, I think he sees the
Now
opportunity.
that's weird. Wait for 15 seconds. Someone's not determined to timer flirt, they leave quicker. Oh, I don't know about that time. The time on that BB. That's
I like how
down to 4 people.
I think the theme of checking the purloin after BB is definitely a theme of tonight, because Bloom was staring right at that list right after the BB happened.
Jaron used to have a mnemonic for it. He called it maps. I think it was. Oh, I forget how it goes, but I always called it spam instead. Whenever you hear a BB, check for statues, purloin, microfilm.
Jesus.
Yeah, all that. Yeah.
Nerds.
or ambassador. Yeah. Spam or maps, depending on what you prefer. Check the 4 hardtails every time you hear a BB.
Yeah, Magician gets angry at the drink that had a hard fingerprint on it, but he failed to pick it up. Which actually,
I like the
really
attempt.
nice. Yeah, there was an attempt. But we do bug and
Oh,
get
there's the beat. There's the bug.
out of there. There's.
I think he got away with it.
Yeah, I would like to think Magician would have been dead if he didn't get away with that.
Yeah, BB already off. I mean, he could be almost positive and just say, okay, shoot for statues. That would not be unreasonable. Let's find out.
Bam.
What was that? Yeah. Unless, if you take a look at the bug, it was pretty visible.
All right, let's take a look at that.
I don't have a problem with it because you can get away with anything sometimes. You really can. What I like about this move is, I like that he starts off with the drink, then bugs. I like that a lot for one very good reason. It would be so easy for someone like Bloom, for anyone really, to see that they're next to the Amba, see that they have a drink in the Amba side, and then just sort of disregard them from that point forward.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's, whenever you see, oh, could that person have bugged? Oh, no, they're holding a drink. Everything's fine.
Right. So maybe he sees the drink, forgets about him, so that once he finishes the drink, he forgets to reevaluate. That seems viable. I don't know. Obviously, it didn't work out. I think it's a little too aggressive, especially because he already had one fingerprint.
I think.
But it was either that or time ad, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the only real way out of that one. All right, cool.
I think that drink thing gave him just like a little extra 5% chance of it working. I like it.
Yeah, that was good. All right, on to the next one. I should also note that the only highlights at the end of the game were the Ambassador and Toby. But so it goes. Bloom is now spying in 3, 2, 1, go. Where is Bloom going? Looks like he wanted to go to the statues, but saw, occupied. So. But we start off with a time ad immediately.
Yeah. I like the time ad there. We haven't really seen any, particularly up front. Although most people, when I see time ads competitive play, most of them happen at the beginning of the game. So I kind of like that, it hasn't happened before, tonight at least, but I think he might have gotten away with it here.
Oh, and another fingerprintable briefcase. Puts it right down.
They're really falling into routines here with the fingerprints. I think it's what's happening at Diamond. The sniping is so good. It's just so hard to get away with those hardtails, and fingerprint is just your only other option if you don't want to do one.
Right. The problem with fingerprint, though, is, oh no! Red tests the flirt. That's so.
Well, here's another problem with fingerprint. It requires that you plan things out and run around a little bit like Seduce. So if you want to do both Seduce and fingerprint, you have to use your time very well.
Yeah, fingerprint especially is really hard to plan for.
So I'm interested here. Bloom not chasing him to statues for the inspect flirt, even though it must be so tempting. He is going to chase a little bit. Ooh, not a great position. He's not going to be able to two-flirt. That's pretty rough. Oh, okay. Maybe he's a little closer than I realized. I saw a person between him.
Yeah, 34%. That is pretty rough. That basically means we need to hit a green, or we're going to be stuck with. I can't do math. Just don't. No, we can
Yeah,
do
three flirt.
Yeah, 3 flirt is possible if we hit a green, right? 34.
Even if he doesn't.
Yes, you were right, because I can't do math in my head. Because that's
okay.
102. Oh man, it's a long day, man.
That's all right.
But we hit the green anyway, so it's all irrelevant.
Oh, there we go.
I should have just never said anything.
All that
God.
math for nothing.
All that math for nothing.
The only thing worse than math is math you don't have to do.
Oh, but I like math.
Does anyone really like math, or did they just hate it less than the rest of us?
I like math.
All right.
Math
I guess I believe you.
So good.
Banana bread.
Banana bread comes off. 2 low lights, a neutral light.
Yeah. Okay, that's not terrible. The over/under there is about right, I'd say.
Yeah, unfortunately that path wasn't so great either,
No.
but
And he's really chasing his ST, but I don't think he's getting burned for it at all.
no, absolutely not. I mean, we're not even lit in any way, which I think is a little. I think being neutral lit is better than being low lit because it really just means you are totally under the sniper's radar. Like, I mean,
Mission win with neutral light is the best thing a spy can do, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Oh, and he knew the fingerprint was there too.
Wow. It hung around for a while. I think he's very fortunate no one went to go pick that up, and I think this is going to win it for him. I just don't see how he can shoot here.
Yeah, this is such a hard shot for Magician to take. I mean, he got high lit, but I'm going to guess that's just a statue highlight.
Yeah, he was waiting to make sure there was no swap.
Yep.
Great win.
Yeah.
There it is. Like, what do we say? The hard tells are hard to get away with against the top snipers, but fingerprint can be hard to track. It really is. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, Scallon's pointed out that there was a fingerprint on that statue, so it must have been there for quite a good clip.
Saying it was, yeah, he was saying it was there most of the round. At any point, that could have ruined his plans.
Wow. So,
but he needed the time ad, because not only was the ST a little uncooperative, but if you want to do the seduce and fingerprint, you either have to be very, very efficient, combine missions at least once, or you need a time ad, because it's just so hard for the party to line up. It's gonna screw you at some point, otherwise, time wise.
Right. Well, I mean, he did need the time ad. Like, I guess he technically didn't. If he didn't have that time ad at the beginning, there would have been a full 10 seconds of overtime. But since he did the time ad, obviously there was none.
Well, 10 seconds of overtime while he's standing at a statue.
Right.
Even if it's not logical, you might get a panicky shot. So yeah, I think he pretty much did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not literally, but in practice.
In practice, I think the time ad saved his life. So remember,
what was that old quote? In theory, there's no difference between practice and theory, but in practice there is.
That is exactly the quote. Yes. Well put.
There we go.
So that puts Bloom after sweeping. What map was this? Courtyard 2. It puts
Courtyard
him up 3-1. Man.
The memory of a brain-damaged goldfish. I swear to God.
It was so hard. All right.
Let's go.
I already forgot the draft. Oh, yes, pub. All right. Pub 4 of 7, the crowded pub, 16 guests. Magician spying as Taft in 3, 2, 1, go.
This was Tobo yesterday at Canada Day, just in a crowded pub, still hungover.
Hey, man. That's going to be me on the 4th.
Yeah?
Actually, that's a lie. I'm going to a friend's barbecue.
There we go. I was going to say, forget the beer, man. You want the grill.
Yeah, well, I mean, I am bringing beer to said barbecue.
Oh, fair enough.
So it looks like we wanted a window flirt, but our seduction target, oddly enough, I think our seduction target really hates us because she left as soon as we got to the window, and then she walked right back to the window after we left. So a little unfortunate there. And now we're stuck in line at the bar on the map pub. Doing the standard delegate, never really worth it to not delegate because you don't really have to do the second half, so you might as well do it to give yourself some options.
Literally the only downside I could think of is that you don't trust yourself to not accidentally click.
That is also a point, yes.
That's the only reason I could come up with, and it's not a very good reason. And if that's the case, stop playing Spy Party.
Yeah, just go, drink some water.
Like what you want.
Relax a little bit.
Water, he says. All right, yeah. Maybe that's what's in that glass.
Banana bread.
But
If there's water in that glass, I don't know why so many people are in this pub to make it crowded.
I am.
Ooh, assuming real.
So I think the sick actually. I think his glass is filled with water when he gets.
That you're right.
And I am actually physically drinking water in real life too, because it is
Yeah,
hot as hell where I live right
for
now.
people who don't know, they all have their own custom drinks, and they are culturally significant or religiously appropriate.
Yep. Like the Indian woman has the Indian lemonade. That's so fucking tasty. Oh, I'm not supposed to swear on these streams. Sorry.
That's
That's okay. Don't tell Joe.
the Mexican billionaire has tequila, I believe, and the Sikh, because they do not drink alcohol, has water.
Yep.
As you said.
So, I guess back to the game.
Well, there's not that much going on, actually, is why we can afford to talk like this.
I suppose.
Magician, just now going for the inspect. He's got one flirt. He's still doing okay on time, but it's going to get sketchy pretty soon. The thing is, it's really easy to combine missions here. You can go for another delegate. You can flirt and then delegate right away. Plenty of options.
Yeah,
But
it is worth noting. I believe he did actually delegate to somebody, but they didn't make it to the bar in time.
two, by the way, I like trying to delegate and doing it right on the line because either there's going to end up being a really big gap between it, or it doesn't go off and no shot fired.
Right.
Not a lot of downside.
Ooh, and fake. Oh, looks like Magician misclicked there. I believe he probably meant to bug. So that's going to cost him one low light.
But you would hope that if you're Bloom, you'd start to doubt your decision to assume real there for a second.
Yeah. Like, that's... You are right. Like, that is definitely a horrifying thing. Like, oh god, what have I done? And then
What
you
is
try
he gonna
to,
do?
rewind
Is that
it.
fingerprintable?
No, but we're just
No,
going to
he's gonna
swap
swap.
it straight out.
Wow, blocking very well. It's not visible at all. He's trying to find it. Yeah, he saw it when he moved. Okay. I'm not sure if he actually saw the swap though. I'm looking here.
I don't think he did. Let's take a look.
No, it's not visible. He
Yeah.
shoots without seeing the swap. He was just so sure, I think, based on the two BBs. And he saw him go to statue so late. Oh, by the way, keep in mind, even if he gets away with the swap, he's got to go flirt after that.
Right, he had
It's not
one
gonna
more
happen.
mission to do, yeah.
Saw the statue.
Yeah. Maybe it would be swap and then insta purloin. I'm not quite sure.
I don't like.
Yeah, I don't think Magician was really. Yeah, that was kind of a rough spot for him right there.
It was rough, and again, Bloom apparently so suspicious that he didn't even necessarily need to see the statue, didn't need to wait for any confirmation. Yeah, all over it.
Yep. Well,
Interesting. If that were the last mission, and if he were not so aggressive about the shot, Salmon was body blocking for him perfectly.
100%.
It was
Yeah.
it was crazy. That you do not usually see that.
Well, that puts Bloom one game away from winning, up 4-1. So hopefully Magician's got to run the table from here on out in order to get the win and at least hope for a tie. And he's going to have to do it as the sniper on pub. Bloom spying as one of the twins in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hopefully, Magician's got something up his sleeve. It's funny looking at that score, 4-1. I say this all the time. It doesn't feel lopsided right now, does it? Even though it's 4-1.
Yeah, I mean, I like to describe SpyParty as like a knife-edgy game, right? Where the game is like balanced on a knife edge, and one moment can make or break the entire thing for either player.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. 5-2 or something. It really is not much at all.
Looks like we're stuck in a long line at the bar, which I know always gets me upset.
Trying to get attention, yeah.
It's like, didn't see me.
So if you end up in this position as spy, you really want to take note of who's around you, because there's really no reason that you can't follow them to the conversation, wait till they talk at the same time, stop talk, and make it almost impossible, unless they're watching nothing but you, almost impossible to tell for sure who did the delegate.
Yep, and actually we're standing next to... Actually can't tell if Salmon has a drink. Yeah, he did. So we were standing next to two people who had drinks.
There it is. Right. Till someone who has a drink talks, and then you make someone else go. So you don't want to be next to them. You want to be the person with the drink sent.
Right.
So you have to. So actually, standing next to Salmon, I would say, was actually probably a mistake and precluded what I was talking about right away.
Right. Well, he had drink takers on both his sides, actually. But he did delegate that to Salmon, who did take the drink and got away with it. Well, You
Yeah,
mean we're
but you see,
suspicious?
he's low lit, so yeah, it's not going to help with any frame here because of the low light. So that's unfortunate, and I gotta worry that Bloom might be a bit of a suspect here. I
Yeah.
don't know if he can survive a trip to statues. Hard to say. You look at the highlights, you can see he's got it narrowed down a bit already.
I really, really like the BB delegate trick. That was really nice.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to do it. You can combine it with a flirt, you can combine it with a stop talk, a BB, whatever. It's not, it's obvious. It's one of those things that's obvious if the sniper's watching you already, but it's a big assumption on their part to be watching you that closely.
Right.
So make them do it and force them to catch it. Looks like he'd really like to get a flirt in, but if not, he's gonna have to time it.
Yeah,
Big moment here.
I think flirt. I mean, was 100%, especially because red statues is out. So we're gonna have to do something else. Fingerprintable. So that's like a step in the right direction.
Ooh, one briefcase maybe.
Oh, but we didn't take the fingerprint off of it. Oh no.
Whoa, my goodness, I can't imagine why not.
Oh, are we just gonna bug right here?
Just wants to bug.
And we do.
You're not sure you saw it? There it
Oh,
is.
there it is. Yep, all over it.
Yeah, good job for Magician. I actually think Bloom played that pretty well. I just really would have liked to have seen that fingerprint. There were 36 seconds left, and the Amba had the briefcase. They'd been the odds that they're going to put it down and walk away in the next 20 seconds, pretty likely,
Yeah.
reasonably likely. And you can always rush something else if you have to. It's just so much better than a bug right out front like that. I think I would have taken my chances. You hate to be at the mercy of the party like that, but you already are at that point. So.
I believe it was a normal fingerprint. I don't think it was a difficult one. Let's back it up and see.
Either way, give yourself the option because I got to be honest. I think if that happens, I don't know if he gets shot for a briefcase there. I think that's a tough shot.
Yep, that was a normal fingerprint. Ambassador puts it down at 139 remaining, and nobody touches it for about 30 seconds when he picks it up.
Wow. Yeah, we'll never know now.
We'll never know. But that does give Magician a chance to see the final map gallery.
Yeah, that's something at least. He's going to make a game of it.
Yep. So let's see how he does his spy in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, KCM says in chat, the print was a gift. Yeah, I love the gift print, the one you weren't expecting that can suddenly change your options on the fly. It's a game of adaptability and opportunism, and the party gave him an opportunity there that he did not take.
I agree. Speaking of taking things, Magician has taken a book.
Yes, blue book, blue dress.
Yeah, that always scary, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I overrate that, how much that matters, especially on a very busy map, but...
100 matters for me. Because that's how I memorize people who've been books.
Yeah.
Like, I used to work at a summer camp, and I always memorize kids, especially on the first day, by what they were wearing.
As long as they never change their shirts, this is going to go fine.
Yeah, well, the other problem is everyone on the first day of camp wears their damn camp t-shirts, so everyone's wearing the same thing.
So the system was flawed.
So the system is just flawed. We do get a fingerprint, though, and a 32% flirt.
Now, I mentioned earlier that it's very hard to have enough time to get both Seduce and Fingerprint done because you have to time everything out and you're at the mercy of the party so much. It's really hard on Gallery, though.
Yeah, you do have 30 extra seconds and like a map compared to Courtyard, Ballroom. Or wait, does Ballroom have 4 minutes? Oh man, I can't even remember anymore.
But it's not just the time. What gets me about Gallery, and I mentioned this to Tobo last week, I think it was, it's that unlike other maps, you can't guess where your ST is going when they leave a conversation.
Yes.
They could be going to, you can't chase them as effectively. You can other places like Panop, you can follow them and narrow down where they're going to go as they walk a little bit, and you can sort of guess a little bit. You can start moving towards them before you know where they're going to end up. That's almost impossible on Gallery. They could stop almost anywhere.
Yeah, especially because, I mean, there are so many places to stop, but luckily you can flirt at almost all of those places. I think Magician shook the camera to...
and non-conversation flirts are very viable on this map compared to others.
Oh, absolutely.
Available on the statue across from the ST did not take it. That's rough. Ooh, and that path into that CC was not great either.
Yeah, at least we're in the CC.
Yeah, but he's running out of time. This is going to get...
real dicey. Yeah, 66% flirt. So we are on the course for a potential 3 flirt. We see Toby going away. We flag him down. And we only to reject him. How sad.
Well, why even ask for it then? Come on, man.
I don't know. Because... I don't know. Maybe thought better of it.
I can understand that.
Looks like we are going to take our final fingerprint. Oh no, it's not fingerprintable.
Oh,
Oh
jeez.
no.
Wasn't tracking it close enough. And he's running low on time, and it's so hard to add time on this map. You have to walk all the way down, and he looks like he's not even going to try. But he's also not going to. Is he going to try to finish here? Because he's not doing something. There's no swap. There's no purloin. He's not trying to induce a shot.
Nobody
Well,
does
that might
bug.
induce a
No,
shot.
but I think bugging,
Yep.
I suppose, is a way to induce a shot.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I
He's
get you.
inducing the shot. It's not the way he hoped. I don't like the decision making there. I think you can try for a purloin or a swap to try to force a shot. You can try to be inconspicuous, but I don't think you can grab a book, leave quick, bug, go to the other shelf. I mean, at that point, I'd rather walk all the way down and do the timeout after all.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think
But
just some things didn't quite line up for Magician based on just missed opportunities from flirts, and there was at least one point where he missed. He could have flirted at statues, and then there was also the fingerprintable statue you mentioned as well.
yeah, and we mentioned earlier that they were just not getting in on those early flirts, not getting a quick start on a lot of these matches. And unsurprisingly, then we saw a lot of rushing at the end of them that just made them easy pickings for the snipers. I think that's the ripple effect of not getting moving early.
Yep, I totally agree. Well, that gives Bloom the win, 5-2, closing out this set, and I think that also means we have to say goodbye to you, Track. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so. I think Wodar's filling in for me,
I think
and
Wodar's
thank
filling
you
in.
so much to both of you.
Yes, well, thank you for casting. It's always a delight to hear your voice.
Have a good night, guys. Enjoy.
Good night, Warning.